All right, you know we like to make up different special segments, gadgets and gear, TGIFF, quick tips. I think I'm gonna have to start a new one because I've mentioned it in a few episodes, but it's called Things I Wait For Every Year.
Things I wait for every year.
You know, like the Reese ABC when the peas come in, Fiore di Zucca, fried zucchini flowers. There's things, when things come in the garden, you get psyched for certain dishes, and it is now that time of the year. The tomatoes are going bananas. This is Goldie. It's a beautiful yellow beefsteak, low in acid, sweet as pie, and of course, the king of all tomatoes, in my opinion, the Brandywine. And this one is so ripe. And we did already the tomato sandwich the other day. That's usually the first thing I do as far as things I wait for. The first ripe mayo, white bread, not toasted, salt, pepper. That's how I like to break them in. However, this is one of the most classic sandwiches in the world, and the Goldie would be good, but I think Brandywine just pushes this deep into the stratosphere. We're making a BLT. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
I made this loaf last night. Like 10:30 p.m. it came out of the oven, and it's rapidly becoming one of my favorite loaves of bread. King Arthur's classic sandwich bread. And by the way, I've made it with bread flour, but really it calls for all-purpose, and this was done with all-purpose, and I see the difference. I mean, I grew up on Wonder Bread, you guys. That's as close as you're going to get in the real world without all the nonsense. All right? King Arthur classic sandwich bread. So I'm going to go with 2 slices. Maybe they're about 3/8 of an inch thick. I want a nice toast on this sandwich. Okay? So there's our bread. Let's make some mayonnaise. Come on, let's do it.
Come on, let's do it.
All right, I don't know about you, but for me, a BLT, one of the main things it's all about, the mayonnaise for me. So let's make some mayo. It's another thing I can't purchase anymore, particularly with these eggs from these girlies. Okay, so I'm going to start with 1 egg. However, I'm experimenting a little. I'm going to put 1 extra yolk in there. I was reading about the Japanese mayo. Japanese mayo is just yolks. I'm going to do a hybrid. 1 egg, 1 yolk. All right? And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze in the juice of a half a lemon. I'm going to go in with, now technically mayonnaise, it's generally what it calls for is Dijon mustard, but I've been using this Australian mustard that I happen to love. It's almost gone. Just go in with a, you know, a little half a teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon. Gonna go in with a little salt, kosher salt, pinch. And just a few drops of white wine vinegar. You know, half a teaspoon or so. And there's our wet. And now, I've been doing it. This is why I like to make mayo, as opposed to purchase soybean oil, canola, all that. I like to use the oils. I've been using light olive oil, but today I'm going with 1 cup of pure 100% avocado oil, unrefined. Raw avocado oil. This is mayonnaise that you don't have to feel guilty about, you know, adding to your tuna, having on your turkey sandwich. And it's so easy to make. Blender stick mayo. So everything's in here. I like to let it sit for a second, just to let the oil kind of take its place on top. And now you start at the very bottom. And And as it begins to emulsify, you raise your stick up. Drop it back down again. Gotta get that full emulsion. Okay. Emulsified. Very nice. Let's see what it tastes like. You'll never buy mayonnaise again. Don't worry, it's unplugged. I'm licking the blades like it's cooking whipped cream or something. I do it in this Ninja vessel. I've got the cover. So it's going to stay out on the counter, and then you refrigerate it. All right, I've got my cast iron on low, nice low flame, because I want to render these out nice and slow. A little bit of bacon. Now, if I had a bunch of people here and I'm doing a big breakfast, 8, 10 people, whatever, I would do the bacon on a tray in the oven. But 3 slices here, I'm just going to render it out. And the cast iron's nice because it holds a nice steady heat. So low and slow. We want to render out all that fat. One of the most iconic sandwiches in all of life. The BLT. Now, bacon, lettuce, tomato. Here's that homemade mayonnaise we just concocted. So I had it in the refrigerator, let it set up a bit. But the bacon, I won't even tell you how long it took me to cook that. Almost an hour. Low, like I said with the rice, the flame was almost so low it almost went off. You want to render all the fat out of it. Now, this is one of the few times in life you'll hear me advocating for the iceberg lettuce. Not a lot. I did it on the po' boys. There's a few times when nothing will do but iceberg, and this is one of them. I mean, if I had my lettuce growing, I had a beautiful, like a Boston style, but it's been the hot summer. The lettuces are done until we plant more. But here's why we're doing the sandwich. Brandywine. King of all tomatoes. And I'm doing some nice hefty, like 1/4-inch slices of this. I'll do 3 of them. We'll make it a little tomato. Well, we'll see when the bread comes out. I have the bread toasting in the oven. By the way, I was thinking about calling it, saying, BLT on toast, but that's redundant. That's too many words. BLT has to be on toasted white bread, in my opinion. You see all these fancy, toasted baguettes and whole wheat. No. BLT is on white, toasted golden. So, having said that, let me go check on it before it gets burned. It's looking good. So what I'll do while it's finishing up with the final golden is I'll take my tomatoes, just go with a little pinch of salt. It's going to help pull a little of that flavor out. And let's go with a little crack of black. Right on the tomato slices while our toast is finishing up. All right, I think it's time to grab the bread. King Arthur's classic white sandwich bread, toasted to perfection. It's rapidly becoming one of my favorite breads. So versatile. Tuna fish sandwiches, egg salad, toast, tea and toast. That homemade mayo on both sides. I'm being generous with it because this is guilt-free, right? The avocado oil. The eggs were in the nesting box this morning. Tomato. Actually, these things are monsters. I think 2 slices is enough. Let's go with the bacon. I think that's good enough. There's 1 slice left. I'll share it with the beeps. And, as I said, one of the rare instances where the iceberg is part of the main event. Okay. Let's go to a little pepper on the mayo. A couple more grains of salt. I salted the tomatoes, so I don't want to go nuts. My bread's cracking in half, but that's a sign of a good healthy loaf. Toasted. Now let's get a look at this little work of art here. BLT. Something I wait for every year.
Things I wait for every year.
With these Brandywine tomatoes. And this is my first time that I have the eggs for the fresh mayo. Nope. Words don't work. See you next time.
Come on, let's do it.